Okay, well we've got all these really nice post-apocalyptic uh, grunge textures that are not this and are that, but are not that. So we've got these beautiful things going on here that are very rusty and worn down looking, run down looking. So let's use them in the wall. So I'm going to select all, um, bring in layer to the pipes. And here's something else you can do just to cheat. I brought in my rust layer once. Instead of doing the same thing twice, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dupe the layer. I'm going to rotate it a bit. Put it there like that. I'm going to combine these two layers. Select everything in the pipes layer. Invert the selection. Go back up here. Hit delete. And again, make them overlay. So there's our pipes back. Much easier to do this time. So let's bring in, that's rust. Let's bring in some deck plating here. I'm going to click on the template layer. It really doesn't matter. Oops. Thought I selected all there. Oh. Well, here I'm going to have to make a composite layer again from these. Select all. Bring the fruits of my labor into here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink it down to where it lines up with the 300 pixel tall center of the wall. And I'm just going to duplicate it, drag the duplicate over here. And because of some amazing advanced planning, that works out perfectly as far as 600 pixels wide. All right, I'm going to go ahead and collapse these two layers together. Wall, and that's going to be the middle texture. All right, so go ahead and get rid of that. Turn that invisible. Let's see what else we've got. There's the deck plating, and then there's the bulkhead. All right. Going to make a whole new composite here. Bring that down here. Same thing again. 300 by 300. Line it up there with the arrow keys on my keyboard. Duplicate the layer. Hello, there we go. Oops, it needs to go back over one. And notice here I've got a pattern forming. See, like that scratch right there, it's obviously the same as this one. So I might want to mix it up just a little bit. Two different ways you can do this. One's bad and one's not so bad. Best way to do it is just make a whole new thing, but we don't have that kind of time, right? Now I could flip it horizontal. But see how now that obviously becomes a mirror image of each other? Not cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees. That prevents a pattern from forming, but what do we got? We have the bolts not lining up. So the last thing we can do, transform vertical. I'm still going to do the same thing. So, yeah, again, this is a case where you really should just do the whole thing all over again. Like I say, we don't have the time for that. So, what am I going to do? That's the question. So much for my advanced planning, right? Well, while I'm thinking about that, I'm going to go ahead and make the pipes a little bit more red here. So what am I going to do? Tim. Okay. I'm going to ignore it. I'm not going to do anything about it right now. Yeah. But in real life, just so you don't have to watch me do the whole video lecture over again, you would actually make 2 panels for this. All right. So I'm just going to bring those two together, though. And there is that. So what else have I got? What else can I use? I've used that. Use that. Use that. Now, let's get rid of that, though. And where did my deck? Oh, there it is. I want to get rid of this. Do I have that in there? Yeah. I want to bring in, and I don't know where I had it before. Oops, wrong. Wrong file. At some point, I actually had, there it is. I had this as a light source. So I'm going to turn all of these into a composite as well, which means Shift Option Command E on your Mac. Oops, no. Shift Option Command E. There it is. On your Mac. I don't know what it is on PC. Someone would please tell me that. I would love that. I'm going to select all of this layer. I'm going to copy it. Bring that up here. And hit paste. Again, 300 by 300. Duplicate that layer. Slide it over. And combine those. Now what I want to do here is I've had a stylistic change of heart. Bring the wall, the middle of the wall down. And I want this to become the center. So I have some nice repetition there. I've got a grating here, I've got a grating here, I've got solid metal right here, and then I've got 2 pipes. That establishes a visual pattern, which those of you in the IMD course knows is an artistic, it's a very good artistic benefit for making things subconsciously more visually pleasing. But I'm not going to get into all that right now. So there is another sidewall, a more worn down, grunged, rusted, post-apocalyptic, dismal wall right there. And I'm liking that a whole lot better. So what's going to happen is when I apply this to the curved polygons in Blender of my wall, from here up is going to be applied to the part of the wall that's curved 45 degrees at the top. From here to here, this part would be applied to the wall that is curved at the bottom at 45 degrees, and this would be at the center. And of course, also right here, I could do some other bevels and embossing. Learn how to use a keyboard here. And I could put some machinery up here. And there, I just punched out a panel real quick. I know you know what I was doing there because you've seen me do it 1,000 times. I'm going to do an outer glow. Make that multiply. All And this kind of might hide a little bit. What I'm doing here is I'm going to try to hide the fact that some of this is a repeated pattern. Oops. And now I've got something going on right there. I can use these as a screen. And more to the point, in this layer, I'm going to put some lines across. Make it 3 pixels. Bring that up here. Create a new layer. Bring that up, nudge that up 6 times. Collapse it. Do it again. And there we go. What in the world is that? Well, check this out. I'm going to bring those, make sure those are on a layer by itself. I'm going to use my lasso tool. I'm going to cut off a 45-degree angle part of those lines right there. And that's going to be a vent. Again, this is just a kind of a punch out thing here. I'm going to select those, make that layer invisible. Go back to this layer, hit J again. Now here obviously we have a problem. We've got these effects that are being applied to it that just aren't working. So we need to turn those off. And we need to do bevel and emboss. And actually a better way to do this, I made this too hard on myself. Let's just get rid of that. Go back out to my punch out layer here. Select everything in that, turn this off, go back down to the original panel layer and just hit delete. And that creates a vent, another industrial feature you would see somewhere. And over here I could put a keypad, like a calculator keypad where someone would put their ID code, their ID badge, or punch in their security code, something like that. And over here we could put in a screen that from the screen lectures. So just to kind of jazz things up there. And last but not least, let's go ahead and get rid of that layer now. I could, and this is what I want you to do. Now just start going to town, adding details. New layer. Let's see. Well, doesn't matter. Make a new layer here. I'm going to use the technique that I used before to make some bolts. Bring that over here. All right, there's some bolts. Going to collapse all of these layers here. Again, this is just a punch out. Select all of those right there, turn it invisible, go back down to my panel layer, and then bring those up. See, now we got some rusted, some obviously 3D looking bolts. Problem is we need to bring that spread size down considerably. Just grab the wrong one there. There we go. All right. And I might think about putting in another pipe through here that actually runs underneath it. Just all kinds of stuff like that. Remember, even going back to the lectures about the interface where I did the gears, put some gears in there and stuff like that. Really make it complex. I'm absolutely confident that you can do that with what we've seen so far. I'm losing my voice. I'm absolutely confident that I really, really have to end this lecture now. So give me, take this and then just run wild with it and add lots more detail to it. Add screens from our screen lectures, everything there as well. So I definitely want to see some screens. I want to see multiple textures. I want to see a metric ton of small little details, so on and so forth like that for the project. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope it's been as much fun for you as it has been for me. And yeah, well, just thanks for watching.